Hello, this is Jess. We're going to go right into Week 9 predictions for the NFL. I would like to first say we have Baltimore, Kansas City Chiefs, Oakland Raiders, and the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's the Baltimore Ravens, by the way. They're all on bye this week. Alright, with that in mind, I'd like to just give a friendly shout out to GMFB. Those guys make football entertaining, throwing in all kinds of different ways to show how things happen and work in the NFL. You know, they use music, they're just real creative, and just want to tell them I appreciate it. You know, opened up a new way to look at, you know, how you get your stats and different things that you build for your team, so you can make predictions and do things like that. So, kudos, GMFB. I watch every morning. I work all night, and I get home in the morning, and that's the first thing I do. A good hour of that gets me tuned in and focused on football, so then I can go in there and go to sleep. As you can see, I'm wearing my Seahawks jersey. They play tonight against the Cardinals. That's the first pick, Thursday Night Football. Seahawks versus the Cardinals. Seahawks, of course. I'm looking for a dominant defense game, a defensive game tonight. I'm looking at Stanton, I believe is his name, the quarterback for the Cardinals. I'm looking at him probably being sacked around 5 times tonight. I'm looking for 2 interceptions and just a dominant shutdown of the run game with Adrian Peterson. I don't look for him to get over 50 yards, no matter how many carries they give him. I think that he'll be contained within 50 yards tonight. So, Seahawks, number 1 team, they're going to win tonight. Alright, now let's go down the list. We have the Jets at the Buccaneers. I picked the Jets. There's a lot of reasons, the excitement of the Jets, but I think also that the Buccaneers are going to be hurting without Mike Evans tonight. He was suspended last week for a cheap shot to one of the Saints players on the sidelines, sort of hit him in the back, knocked him down, that kind of stuff. Unnecessary, got suspended. And that's what happens. You know, you're a big star, but you ain't good. You know, if you're not in there, you're not supporting your team and doing stuff like that. You know, it's unfortunate because he's a good receiver, and I think that he could have had a good game against the Jets, but he ain't there now. Nothing I can do about it except say, man, chill out and pay attention to football. I mean, I understand emotions. You know, you get excited. You know, things happen, it's done, but just next time, think a little bit before you take some action like that. Alright, so I picked the Jets over the Bucks on that one. The next game, the Saints at the Bills. Man, I really had to think about this one. I guess the Saints are a 5-game winning streak. Maybe even a 6-game winning streak. But I think it comes to an end tonight, or Sunday, when they play. I think that the Bills are going to have a rebound. I think I'm looking at LaShawn McCoy probably having a breakout game. I think that he'll have, you know, I think he'll really do well for him. I think that he's going to surprise that Saints defense. And the Bills have a decent defense. Their secondary is pretty darn good. So we'll be looking at, you know, I think that there'll be an interception in that game as well for the Bills. So I picked the Bills in that. The Browns and the Lions next. This is a trap game. I think the Browns are going to win it. I think that the Lions are going to get a taste of, you know, the team that doesn't win is going to beat them. There's a few positive notes coming into the Browns. You know, they got a receiver coming back that hadn't been there all year. He's supposedly pretty good. We'll see. But I picked the Browns to win. Bengals and the Titans. This is a tough one. but I'm going to go with the Titans. I think it's time for them to buckle down and get serious about playoff contention. I think they're going to have to win this game to prove that they're worth getting into the playoff contention. So Titans, okay, on that one. The Bengals, I don't know. I like them, but I just can't put my finger on it. But I just think the Titans take that game. All right, we got the Packers and the Bears next. I got to go with the Bears. The old course that everyone knows, Aaron Rodgers is out. The old quarterback for the Packers ain't bad. He can throw the ball. He's proven. He's ready to go in there and be a backup quarterback like he should be. But you got the Bears on the other side. They got a pretty strong defense. They also have Howard on the ground. He's averaging 102 yards a game this year, and I don't see any reason for him to just let up on these Packers. So I picked the Bears. Chargers and Jaguars. You can say what you want about stuff, but this is the dominant defense in the NFL. 35 sacks plus so far this year. Leading the defense in takeaways, leading the defense in sacks. These guys are for real. Quality defensive unit. I don't think the Chargers are going to be able to stand up to it. So I picked the Jaguars. Vikings and Redskins. I'm a Vikings fan on this one. I think that they've been playing tough, 6-2, backup quarterback, the whole 9 yards. Main receiver being in and out of the, Diggs being out all the time, and they've still got they're 6-2, I believe. So I look for the Vikings to go ahead and win on that one. I think that their defense is going to control Cousins. And I think they're banged up pretty good in their secondary on defense, and also their wide receivers. There's a lot of tough things going on with the Redskins. So I picked the Vikings. Steelers and the Colts. This was scary for me because last week T.Y. Hilton had 5 catches for 175 yards for the Colts. Maybe there's something going on there with Brissett and T.Y. Hilton now. They might have something going on, but it was the first time. I don't see it happening again. Steelers, I think, are going to get control of that if it does start. So I went with the Steelers. I think they'll go ahead, and Roethlisberger is going to go ahead and hand the ball off or throw to Antonio Brown or that kind of stuff. I think that Steelers take that one. The Texans and the Rams. Blindly, I picked the Rams, and I just got to stick with my pick. It's unfortunate. Texans were on a roll, but I just think they're going to stall. The Rams, highest scoring offense in the NFL, against a good defense, even though it's beat up and injured. The Houston defense ain't bad. But I just look for the Rams to come out on top in that game. The Giants and the 49ers. I think the 49ers will get their first win of the year against a weak Giants team. They don't have to be weak, but they just are. They're not using their potential. Like I said, I'm not a magic know everything. Why things are like that. But the Giants just aren't having a good year. What can you do? You just got to shake it off and do their best. But I think the 49ers stand up and get their first victory. Next game, Cowboys and Falcons. Go with the Cowboys. Matt Ryan's been lackluster. He did throw some real good balls last week, and they were dropped in the end zone. Julio Jones, normally that 90% of the time you're not going to ever see that happen with him, but hey, it did happen. And it just been that kind of session for the Falcons right now. They're in some kind of funk, and I just think the Cowboys are on a roll. I think that it's going to be a Cowboys victory. Patriots and the Broncos. We're looking at another Super Bowl shot for the Patriots. I just don't see him giving up anything to the Broncos. I just see Tom Brady. He's 40 years old. He leads the league in passing right now this season. I just see that continuing. I see the Patriots going on to probably a pretty dominant game against the Broncos. The last game, Monday Night Football, Dolphins and the Panthers. I go with the Dolphins. Panthers have been on a roll. Cam's playing well. But I also know this is a do or die time for the Dolphins, and I think some of the receiving corps coming back. I think Cutler will have a decent game. I just see they've got an opportunity. It could be an upset of the week if there was one. It'd be the Dolphins over the Panthers. All right, so that's my picks. Week 9 tonight. Seattle will dominate the Cardinals, and that ought to do it. It's been a long night. I worked all night. I'm ready to go in there and get ready to get some rest so I can do it all over again tonight. Have a great Thursday. Go Seattle.